Greetings. We talk about health and fitness, and we talk about lifestyle, which is the point of today. Lifestyle is the things you do habitually, but it's preferably the things that improve the quality of your life. So breathing. There's a surprising amount of information or neglected good behavior in terms of breathing. Nasal breathing, nose breathing. The term mouth breather exists for a reason. It's just that not very intelligent. And you can't help it if that's your situation in life. But you have sinuses for a reason. And you think, oh, well, what do? They're for smelling, they're for warming and cooling air up, they're for filtering, and maybe a few other things you can think of. It turns out that there are something like 30 functions, discrete functions of the sinuses. They're not just a big filter inside your skull. Anything that's taking up that much space inside your skull would have to be, you just think logically that it would have to be important. If it weren't important, it would get smaller. It would atrophy. It doesn't seem to be doing that, not in a healthy way. Nasal breathing has a function. And you're not going to get those functions done if you're busy mouth breathing, where there's nothing. Mouth down your throat. Nose through any number of processes, tripping any number of wires, and then into your lungs. There's a big difference. And that's just the way it is. So a trick, I'm forgetting what the guy's name is. I read his book. He is all about nasal breathing. He says that your sinuses get bigger, you get more bone density. And he makes a pretty big point. He's got a number of videos online, or you can do him a favor and order his book. But here's the trick that he wants you to do. Tape your mouth shut at night. Now, if you're alone, that's not an issue. If you're not sleeping alone, well, then it has to be some kind of an agreement. I have found that there's that transparent medical tape, and I just take a bit, and I do this. A little bit of a, be quiet, but just right across the two lips. It doesn't have to be a big X. I do this on a regular basis. Do I know that it's doing me a lot of good? No, I don't know. The evidence is there, not in me. I've not noticed anything. But if it's best practice, even if you don't know that you're getting the best result, best practice is the thing to do. So that's a thing about breathing. It should be, generally speaking, nasal breathing. There are all kinds of Far Eastern tradition, like Kung Fu is traditional. And there's all this, I'm a monkey and I'm a crane. And what happened is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu taught them the error of their ways. So as a form of meditation, as being subjected to kinds of discipline, very good. As the most effective martial art, way to prevail in a fight, generally speaking, not so much. You see the Tai Chi guys, there's a very well-known, the fight between the traditional Chi guy who's got magic powers, where he's flipping out his students around just by looking at them, and some actual real MMA fighter. And it's sad to watch, because this old guy, they're going to do their stuff, he's going to do Chi, abracadabra, and the MMA guy is there to prevail. The old guy's old, he's an old guy. Well, maybe he's my age, but he looks like an old guy. One punch. And the old guy gets it hit in the nose and he walks away. And the MMA fighter is chagrined that are you okay? Because he's a decent human being. And he's up against a guy who's not really a fighter. And that's the ugly truth about the magical powers of, crouching tigers. My point was tradition. Traditions are fine. In fact, one of the problems with our current culture is we've abandoned our traditions. We don't have initiation rites for our young people. And man, what a nightmare. What an absolute inhuman situation that is. Every culture does it. Ours doesn't. These poor young people who are lost with no examples and no affirmation of what they actually are, putting fantasies and superstitions aside. So traditions, they matter. And then there's the irrationality. I told a story about the pot roast. You just have to scroll through to find that. But traditions, when they're meaningful, when they're supportive of the society, they matter. And breathing, you don't have a choice. But there's chest breathing and belly breathing. There's nasal breathing. There's mouth breathing. Here's a thing to do to calm your central nervous system down. We've talked about this in another context. I touched on it lightly. There's, say, 4x4 breathing. And there are two ways of doing 4x4 breathing. It's a count of 4 in through your nose, pretty slow, maybe 4 or 5 seconds. 1, 2, and you're breathing in 3, 4, out, 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 4. On a 4 or 5 second, doesn't really matter. It's just to get a rhythm. So that's one way, in, out. The other way is 4 in, hold your breath for 4. Out for 4 seconds, hold your breath for 4. It calms you down. It changes your heartbeat. It lowers your blood pressure. It's calming. Now, I have mentioned Welltory, the app. What it does is it measures your central nervous system. It measures your sympathetic nervous system, the fight, flight, the environment is dangerous. And it measures the parasympathetic, which is the rest and digest. Just simply, it's an easy way to remember it. All that calm internal stuff and all the I better be aware of my environment stuff. And after a workout, your heart is going boom, 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 boom. It's it's just getting blood it's not responsive to the environment at all. It's responsive to the absolute demands of what's happening now in terms of your limbs. Then, if you calm down, your parasympathetic system takes over. And it's highly responsive to your environment, or internal and external. So a little faster, a little slower. I've said it before. It used to be that we thought that the heart should go boom, 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 and be very steady. And now we know that it's just a healthier pattern to be highly varied. That's what heart rate variability is, HRV. So after a workout, your sympathetic nervous system, it sounds wrong. Sympathetic should be nice and soft and calm. It isn't. It's the tense one. Sympathetic nervous system is really tense and very stressed after a workout because your heart is still pounding. Get blood to the limbs. And we're doing intense exercise, digestion shuts down. It doesn't, not during moderate exercise, but during intense, really, the blood flow stops going to the digestive functions and it goes to the limbs. So it's very, very logical. Your body is logical. When the workout is done, you want to revert to that original calm state. I mean, if maybe it's not your state. If you've got high blood pressure, if you've got these health measurements that are not doing you a lot of good, then you need to do the breathing. You need, as a lifestyle hack, you need to do the breathing. So you can do it at a red light when you're driving. You can do it during commercials if you're a television watcher. 4 in, 4 out, 4 times. It's about a minute. Do that on a regular basis. You're going to start taking control of your autonomic nervous system. You don't want these things to be random, because random is how you degenerate, by not taking care of business. So I've wandered around. We're talking about lifestyle. We're talking about breathing, nasal breathing, and then we're getting specific to a technique. That's only one 4x4 breathing, and then you choose which you're going to do. There are different benefits, but 4 in, 4 out, regulated, controlled breathing makes a difference. This is very light. It's not information dense. It is about general principles and a very useful, actionable technique. All right, we'll leave it at that. Have a great day.